It's Henry!
From Mowers and Blowers!
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. This is a continuation of the Toro 1438 lawn tractor, carcass of crap, if you will, that I got from my buddy, Nick from Bellport the other day. I was going to work on this today because, I'll tell you a quick story. My mom asked me to go with her to her basement to clear out some crap that was left over from my dad. My dad passed away 9 years ago. She's still having a difficult time about it. Anyway, to help her get over that kind of thing, you got to get rid of all the stuff that he had in the basement. That helps. So I packed up like 25 boxes into Sketchy, and I went into the dump and dumped it. In there, I found an old rifle that my dad had. So now I'm in the middle of like rebuilding that rifle and restoring it to original condition. That's fun. Not to mention it was from my dad. Anyway, I was doing that today, and I wasn't going to do anything today, except I started looking at the tires. They were flat, so I pumped up the tires. As you know, the front part of this deck was flopped down because the two bolts that hold the plate that hold on to the front of the deck were gone. So this was dragging on the floor, and I had to shove some screwdrivers in just so I can move this thing around. Anyway, it took a while, but I found some shoulder bolts to keep the deck up. So now, as you can see, the deck goes up and down. It could be a little tight in the front because it stays up too much, but tires are pumped up. Found the shoulder bolts, found a couple of bolts to adhere the hood to the frame. So my intention was I was going to take that Kawasaki engine that I got from my local neighbor around here, who's also a subscriber, by the way, and it's one of those pull rope start Kawasaki engines, like 14 horsepower, for one of those commercial landscaping walk behind mowers, you know, like a Keys or a Ransones or something like that. Anyway, he gave it to me. He says it runs. I think I'm gonna have problems with it, but either way, I was gonna put that engine on here. Not really smart, because who really wants to open the hood and pull start it? I guess if it runs and works, I could get $300, $400 for this, or less, you know. So that's what my plan was. But looking at the holes here on the plates, I don't think it'll fit, because usually they do fit. You could put a lawn tractor engine from a Honda, a Kohler, a Briggs, a Zongshen from China. You can put any lawn tractor engine on here. It'll fit. Usually they have more than the 4 bolts in the pattern for other patterns. So you can put those engines and accommodate those other engines. This one only has one dedicated bolt per corner, 4 of them. And as you can see, the ones over here, this one's bigger, this one's smaller. They're kind of offset. The distance between here and here is different from the distance between here and here. So it's a very particular pattern engine that would fit on here. I mean, without having to drill a hole, you know what I mean? So I doubt very much that Kawasaki will fit on here. Will fit the whole pattern, so I might have to do some drilling, which is kind of like a pain in the butt, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, the next step is that. I've already secured the bolts and the deck onto the frame. I've already pumped up the tires. This thing rolls freely. Everything else seems good. Like, the deck is in good shape and everything. You assume the hydrostatic transmission works and all that. And, I mean, everything is here, you know? Even the hood is pretty good. So I'm going to lift that engine up, and I'm going to put it on. See if it fits the holes. If not, I'm going to have to come up with another engine somewhere. So here we go. Here's the Kawasaki, and it's the Fc420V. Full pressure lubrication, cast iron cylinder liner, electronic ignition. Electronic ignition, eh? So I assume this is the kill wire to the magneto. And when I brought this back from the guy's house, it had tipped over in the bed of the Sketchy truck, and oil came out. A lot of it. But this feels pretty good. I don't really feel that much compression, to be honest with you. Kind of slurping around. You can hear the gargling in there. Anyway, I guess I'll just put it on here. as I'm bending over, I see this sign here from the pressure washer. Do not remove this tag? Well, why the fuck not? Laws were meant to be broken.
Don't do it, Henry.
Oh, I want to show you guys a real good trick. If you clip it right here, you can actually use this zip tie again. Oh, it feels so good to break the law. See, now you can use this zip tie again. Oh yes, I definitely needed this information, because if I cut the tag and threw it away, I wouldn't have this information. Get the fuck out of here. Yes, yes, sometimes my episodes have a little bit of naughty language in it. Don't be a Karen, all right? Get a grip.
All right, Henry, get a grip of it before you drop it on your toe.
Oh, shut up. Well, sits on here okay. Looks like it clears the tower too. But I question whether or not the holes are gonna match. I'm gonna line this sucker up and see. So actually, I flipped this to the side, so I wanted to see clearly. And as you could see, it actually is offset. The distance between this and this is such, and then it is different between here and here. So maybe it will fit, surprisingly, because this is a little offset. Before I put it on, I got some typical 9/16 thread bolts, which is usually the kind that you put on engines. However, they didn't fit. So I have these 1-inch ones that seem to fit. That is, if it's even threaded, and it is, it's threaded. So this looks like it'll fit. I mean, if you drive an impact in there, it'll go in. Maybe make its own threads, whatever. But it looks like these are it. And this one's kind of like 3/8 too, you know, but same thread. And so I think it'll fit. But then I noticed that there's a pulley on here. Well, this pulley would only drive the drive belt. You know what I mean? It's a big pulley too, so if I just put this pulley on, this thing will go fast, because a bigger pulley will make the machine go faster. But it's a hydrostatic, so it wouldn't really matter, because a hydrostatic transmission limits your speed because of all the gears. But I'd have to remove this and put a double stack pulley on it if I wanted to power the mower deck. So the top pulley would be to drive the thing. The bottom pulley would be to engage the help engage the blades to the mower deck. So we have to take this pulley off no matter what, and I don't know how I would do that unless it has some kind of set screw on it, which it probably does, which I don't anticipate it being any fun. As you can see, there's a key here too. Also, we need to measure the diameter of this crankshaft, because what if it is of a different size? Typically it's 1 inch for double stack pulleys. If this is not 1 inch, that's another pickle. I'd have to get an adapter for it to fit, you know, so, or a sleeve. But right there, I see there's a set screw there, so I'm going to get a hex tool, try to remove the set screw and get that pulley off. As you guys know, sometimes it would take a whole episode just to get a pulley off. Let's hope that's not the case today. So I found the right hex tool for the what did I call these things again? Stop screws. Anyway, I'm using some Deep Creep premium penetrating oil and lubricant, because I am no longer obligated to push Lucas Oil products, because I am no longer sponsored by them. They did not renew my contract for the following year, this year. Also, coincidentally, the handler that, you know, with the head of sponsorship for me, they let him go too. So a lot of things changing over at Lucas Oil. Good or bad, you know, I'll let you guys decide. Still make good products, not knocking them, just saying that the upper corporate management and stuff changing for the worse, I think, because he was a good guy. He should not have let him go. In turn, I believe I was good for their brand too, because A lot of people watched my channel, and because of it, went and bought Lucas Oil products and started. If you had not heard of Lucas Oil or ever used it, watching my channel made you go out and use it, or you were more likely to do it, and therefore, you know, selling more of their product. And it's like they didn't pay me any money for it; they just gave me product. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna break this, so it's really tight, and I don't know how I'm going to get that out. The set screw, that's what I was trying to say. Heat would probably work, but I'd like to avoid that, because if you heat this area too much, the crankshaft seal is rubber. The heat could cause oil leaks, which is the worst problem. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this sit here for a bit and just move it around, let the lubricating oil do its magic, and move it around, you know, maybe I'll whack it a couple of times with a hammer in the area. That kind of jars the rust loose. I'll come back to you when I've got it loose. So when there's a will, there's a way. So I've got it loose. How did I do it? I had my 1/4 inch impact with this attachment, which is the Torx. I didn't have hex. I don't have the hex ones. I only have the Torx one. Anyway, it fits. So I tried it with the 1/4 inch, didn't work. Then you can't put this on a 1/2 inch kind, because the 1/2 inch, the 3/8 chuck is different. So you take like an 8mm, or I'm sorry, a 1/4 inch socket, put it onto an adapter that fits on the 3/8 socket, and then you impact that, and it's loose and free. So now the set screw is free, and it moves. And the impact always, well, not always, but most of the time it works. This Kawasaki engine is made in Japan, as I see on the bottom stamp here, and there is the set screw. Came out clean. Just need a little bit of jar in it is all. Now, of course, getting this off is a different story. I don't want to break this because I could use it. You want a bigger pulley sometimes if you want to make like a mud mower or something. That's probably not a good idea, because this is pretty fragile aluminum and you could just break it, you know. So I don't know how I'm going to get this off. I definitely might have to get a crowbar or something like that, or a puller. I actually don't have a puller. Every one I had I broke. Is their crap. So because I don't have a puller, I got this clamp. I took the part off the ball here, and the ball goes right into the crankshaft. The ball is big enough so that it may damage the first few threads or something, but I have a tie-in thread thing, so we'll see. So it is turning, but I need to use this extension bar. Shit. It's the same premise, right? You're putting pressure down there while pulling down there, right? First time I ever tried this. I don't know. It's a little sketchy. Oh, it's bending this thing. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work, fellas. It was a interesting idea, though. It's really on there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find another way. It's not gonna work. Would you believe there were 2 set screws? That's probably why it didn't budge. You guys watch Get Smart? Would you believe there were 2 set screws? It's coming. Just tapping it lightly. That's all it is, just tapping it lightly. Try this. Success, success, I tell you, success. Now I should go get a double stack pulley and see if it'll fit this crank. I think I have a Toro one too. So success again. Found the pulley, double stack pulley for a Toro. It looks like this. Took the keyway out of the Kawasaki crankshaft because this double stack pulley has a built-in keyway. And I also found a bolt that fits threads, and it fits perfectly. So now we're ready to mount the engine after we've taken care of the pulley problem. So this one powers the drive belt, this one powers the mower deck belt. So let's try to put this engine on once and for all after we just spent all this time getting the pulley off. You know what? That really wasn't too bad. I have spent episodes, a whole episode just taking a pulley off. And I spared you guys because I actually turned the camera off and only showed you the vital parts. Trying to do this without getting hurt. I'm gonna try to match up the holes and get back to you. It's a dirty job. Somebody has to do it. Crawling on the floor, just getting the bolts in there. There's no room under there at all. There's a harness going through that hole through the frame that was right in the way of that bolt on the rear right. But it's on here now. I don't know, man. That seems pretty easy to pull. Look at that. I don't feel any compression, do you? I mean, some, but it seems really easy to pull. I don't think it's gonna work. Just feels too loose. This could all be for nothing. Only one way to find out. I'm gonna have to blow some jism in there. Jism? That's right, jism. It's a crap in there. Something's gonna get stuck in there, I know it. Assumingly that black wire is the magneto, so nothing's killing this to it's choked or not. This choke is kind of stuck. I don't feel any compression. None. That just feels weird, man. Took off the air cleaner base. Look what we got. Uh-huh. Yeah. That ain't gonna run. I thought the choke was stuck. It's stuck big time. Look at that. That's bad. A lot of water. Lots of water. Lots of rust. Look at that. I bet you the valves are all seized. That's why we're getting no compression. The valves are, they're stuck open, I'm sure. Crazy, man. I don't think this thing's gonna run. I mean, eventually maybe, if I take the head off. Do a valve job. Holy cow. This thing's trash. I managed to get the flap open. Some Earl penetrating. It's just globs and globs of rust, guys. I'm gonna take this carburetor off. This has got to be trashed under here for sure. Carburetor's off. Take a look in there. Completely seized from rust. There's no way this would have run for sure. Let's take a look at the valves. Can't see, but it's bad. I guarantee you those valves are stuck open. That's why there was no compression. So this engine, we're not riding this today. It's got to be one of those long ones for sure. Well, let's open up this bowl. See what it looks like. 10mm. Kawasaki, Japanese. 10mm. Actually, surprisingly, given the condition of the mouths of the carburetor, it's not terrible. And the float moves up and down. There's the needle though. Nope, needle is stuck. Needle is stuckage. Yeah, so is the pin. Won't move. So I'm gonna take this carburetor apart and maybe I'll throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I don't really use that too much. We'll give it a try. Anyway, that'll be it for today's episode. Installing the engine, removing the pulley, removing the carburetor, and seeing that we have a long way to go. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.